Welcome to another segment of Inside the Business, where we bring business and insurance together. And today I'm with Bryan Engelbrecht, a local commercial banker at State Bank. Welcome, Bryan.
Hey, welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we dive into commercial banking and the bank itself, if I remember correctly, it used to be called State Bank of Liston.
Yes, that's right.
Why State Bank now? What made the change?
That obviously was our legacy brand, and we were based right out of here, out of Hendricks County. I think we made a conscious effort to kind of rebrand ourselves, just simply as we were growing into different markets. We're not only in Hendricks County, Boone County with 2 locations or 3 locations. We also get into Hamilton County, and last couple of years expanded into Tippecanoe County and Lafayette, and then plans to go into LaPel, around the northeast of Indianapolis here in 2026.
Yeah, that's quite a bit of an expansion in itself.
Yeah.
So yeah, that makes sense. So what makes, I guess, State Bank different from other, well-known banks that might be out there?
That's a great question. I spent, better part of 2 decades at a large super regional bank, and it's simply, we've got the talent and resources and product offerings of a larger bank, but we've got the ability to make decisions in our own backyards. In fact, most of the people that are at State Bank came from larger institutions, and the story is very similar. It's just get tired of the swim lanes becoming more and more narrow. And what I mean by that, types of deals that we could do or not do at larger banks. Larger banks have a very, very I guess, pinpoint goal of the types of deals that they want to do that fit in their portfolio. And the reality of it is the majority of the opportunities that are out there or needs just don't fit what a big bank has an appetite to do, because they don't understand the market, their backyard, the communities that they're serving, and necessarily because the decision making is oftentimes, several states away.
Yeah.
And so they want a universal and consistent credit appetite or credit approval, if you will, or types of deals they want to do, and it's very difficult to do that. Where at State Bank, we have the ability to make decisions based on the opportunities in our backyard, the people in our backyard, and the markets that we understand, and we're not limited by a product sheet or a very strict type of transaction that they're looking for.
All right. And I know you're now in commercial banking. How long have you been in the commercial banking? I guess, what is your professional story, if you will?
Yeah, so went to school undergrad at Indiana State and studied finance, and had an opportunity one summer to kind of intern at a credit union in Fort Wayne. That's kind of where I cut my teeth into the world of banking and financial institutions, and quickly understood that's the space I wanted to be in. So from there, I worked kind of in the retail side of banking, which you're kind of exposed to a lot of things, but you're not an expert in anything necessarily. Did that for a few years. Moved to Indianapolis area, worked for a large community bank at the time. It was called Union Federal Savings Bank. Like I said, worked retail, migrated into the private banking shop. So I worked with high income, high net worth individuals, and I did all sorts of interesting types of lending transactions primarily. And then got into buying brokered paper. So I was doing everything from cell phone towers, tax exempt municipal fire trucks all over the country. Yeah. And then I got into practice financing, dental practice financing, veterinary practice financing all over the country as well. So got to do that, kind of a baptism by fire. I'd be embarrassed to tell you how we underwrote those transactions on a piece of ditto paper almost.
Oh my gosh.
Compared to the elaborate write-ups that are produced today. So from there, went to work at a super regional bank, Fifth Third Bank, for 20 years. Was business banking, commercial banking. I was a commercial healthcare specialist, so I all healthcare clients for a while. I had an opportunity to kind of grow and expand and become a subject matter expert in the world of SBA, or Small Business Administration. So I became kind of a product specialist and supported a multi-state territory of lenders all over the Midwest, kind of working with that. And then, just a few years ago, just kind of, again, got tired of the narrowing swim lane. It really wasn't until actually I left or realized how much my world had changed in 2 decades about what I couldn't do. And
Yeah.
I just got fatigued with the idea of getting in my car, going on a call, an appointment, and knowing I wouldn't be going to be able to help them before I even met the person.
Sure.
And the fun thing here, it's, everything, it doesn't start with a yes or no. It starts with a maybe. Does it
Hmm.
make sense? And it goes back to, is it a product in a markets that we understand, or is there ownership that ties to people that are within the markets that we understand? So we can go out of state. We're not just necessarily restricted by the counties that we're in or the state that we're
Oh,
in.
really?
But as long
Yeah.
as there's a local tie that makes sense, if we know the people, we know the project, if it makes sense, we'll take a look at it.
Well, that's helpful,
Yeah.
especially that you can go outside of the designated area that you're in. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
for those that aren't familiar, or maybe not as familiar with banking, what's the functions of commercial banking, and like, I guess in elementary terms, maybe like.
Yeah, every bank has a different term, and they have, middle market and commercial real estate group and business banking, commercial. Here we're kind of all the same. So it's anything that's not really your personal or checking or savings account or a
Right.
CD or a home equity loan. We're doing anything from investment real estate, multifamily projects. I mean, there's so many things that, again, they're not maybe desirable on the front end if you labeled it the type of transaction, but if it made sense, we definitely dipped our toe into that environment. But it's anything on the business or commercial side, checking, savings account, cash management tools that are out there. It's not just about the loans. A lot of times we're leading with that because that's what kind of initiates initial conversations with a prospect or client. But it's coming up with tools to improve the cash flow revenue cycle, get the money in quicker, extend the payables, that type of, like any business. And we have the tools to do that. And not only that, but, fraud mitigation tools that can kind of protect the balances that they have.
Right. So, if I was starting in business, what would be the beginning steps to getting to coming in?
Yeah, I mean, starting a business it's not easy, right? So it comes up with an idea or something that, someone's passionate about or have a talent with, but they may necessarily not have the business acumen to really, execute. So that's where we can kind of help, and it's whether it's us, we can even point to other resources, other partners,
Yeah.
accountants, attorneys. There's even some programs through the SBA where they take retired executives and kind of help folks that have desire to start with whatever the business is that they have a passion with, and how to be able to present that to a bank. And it's a small business development entity, if you will, but they can help with putting projections together, a business plan, and presentation skills to really help vet out and make it presentable to a potential bank to
That's very
be
helpful.
to be a part of. And oftentimes, startup loans aren't easy as a lender or as a banker. So oftentimes, we'll utilize the Small Business Administration, which has credit enhancements basically to encourage banks to lend money where normally their policy or appetite would say no, they can't do it because it's a startup, it's too risky, or it's the type of business. We're a preferred lender like a lot of the larger banks, and we can definitely assist with utilizing some of their tools that they have to offer.
Yeah. And I think you touched on it. I mentioned it a little bit ago. Are there certain markets that you serve? Is there like pinpoint? These are.
You know, the easy answer is yes, but again, if there's a local business owner and they have a project in Florida or North Carolina, it makes sense for us to do it. And if we know our borrower, or we know our client, or the prospect has ties to the local community, we definitely consider it. But by nature, a lot of what I do is right here in central Indiana and Henderson County in particular. It could be anything from an investment piece of real estate, a strip mall or industrial center, to owner occupied commercial real estate. Hey, I've been renting, I got an opportunity to buy my office building or
Hmm.
facility or whatever the case is, or be a part owner. We can definitely help with that as well. But it's also, operating credit lines, equipment purchases, growth and expansion, partner buyouts. It could be a number of things.
Yeah. So you mentioned a little bit ago. If we backtrack, you mentioned the word fraud, um, and I know there's might be some other trends or things that are happening, or you might be happening in the future. Can you touch on maybe
Yeah,
things that you're
as far as trends in
seeing?
the industry, and it's not a good one. It's just the increased instances of fraud that we're running into, and we've heard this for so long, and it's almost become like white noise. You're getting tired of hearing, but it's very prevalent. It's phishing attacks, and it's electronic fraud, and it's check fraud. I mean, there's a number of techniques that are out there that folks will get. They'll go diving into a mailbox, get a check, and they can whitewash it, change the amounts, who it's payable to, cash it, and move on down the road. And then
Wow, yeah,
oftentimes it's not caught up right away. And there's phishing attacks, and phones are getting compromised, and computers getting compromised, and accounts getting compromised. So we're seeing quite a bit of that. I think we were chatting earlier, story at one of our local offices in Lebanon. An older individual was wanting to wire $150,000 out of their account, and the teller just picked up on, this isn't consistent, something's not right.
hmm,
Customer seems distraught, kept asking questions, brought a manager in, sat her down, and found out they had a scammer on the phone, and they put him on hold, silence. Scammer was on the phone. The lady had apparently clicked a link where it gave access to the scammer, so she was able to transfer, or the person was able to transfer money from the money market to her checking account, and instructed her to wire the money out of her checking account
wow,
off site, or she was going to get arrested for something and get reported to the IRS for something. And the lady was just totally terrified. And then they were able to prevent that
yeah,
loss. But I mean, this stuff happens all the time, and it's all kinds of fraud. At the same time, we have tools to help mitigate that, especially in the business spaces where there's large sums of money into an operating checking account. There's tools that we can help that almost puts like kind of like a protective bubble around the account to help mitigate funds clearing off of that, whether they're sent through check or electronic.
sure,
There's almost like another set of a ledger. They upload the files to us so we can clear the funds off that. If it doesn't match what they've uploaded to us, it'll
yeah.
reject it. But those are examples of tools that are out there, and we're having a lot of those conversations
Well, I
today.
mean, that says a lot about the banking industry in itself, and kudos to those employees, and I'm sure your employees, for catching or would catch instances like that. Like, I mean, who knows what would happen if they wouldn't have.
Yeah, it's definitely not a fun trend to be a part of, and it's just increasing, getting worse all the
Yeah,
time.
I mean, we see I get spam texts or
Yeah.
calls all the time. So if you look at your job, I mean, I know there's different parts of your job that you might like, but what would you say that I guess is your favorite part of your job?
Yeah, that's an easy question. I mean, literally, I always tell someone from around a young person, say, "What's your favorite part of your job?" The conception is I'm sit behind a desk all day long, or on the phone, or typing emails, and that could be a part of it. But the best part about what I do is every day is different. Every day is like a field trip. I remember in school, I like to go on a field trip and going somewhere that's off the norm. Every day is different and unique. I get to see how everything works from the inside out across all different types of industries, and I ask a lot of questions naturally, and it's
Mm-hmm.
perfect for what I do. It's just taking a genuine interest in our clients and prospects and what they do on a day-to-day basis, whether they're making a widget or providing a unique service or whatever it is that they're successful and passionate about. But I get to go off site, see how different things work. I'd say that's probably the best part of the job, as far as making it fun anyway.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm sure with this job, you get to see all sorts of different people, young, older, middle class, high class. I mean, I'm sure that's interesting.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, it is.
um, so is there anything that you would want people out there to know that maybe we didn't touch on today? Um,
I'd say, if you're thinking about starting a business, or even maybe doing if it's a side hustle, whatever the case is, I'd say banking is a world that's perceived as a commodity. It's what's the difference between this bank and that bank. And at the end of the day, I'd say it's the people that you're working with. It comes down to relationship.
mhm.
Have a good relationship with your banker. I always say, especially in the business world, think kind of as a Mercedes star. I mean, this isn't exactly a Mercedes. I guess those are 4 points. I always use the 3 point star. The client's in the middle. I think like the attorney is one of the spokes, the accountant, and I'd say put your banker in there too. The difference is, we're not fee for service like the other two, but we are a valuable resource and can provide, a lot of um, strategy and become a kind of a trusted advisor, whether to help execute whatever it is, that's in front of them, whether it's an aggressive expansion or whatever the case is. So I would say that's probably it.
Awesome. Well, that's all the deep questions
All
I
right.
have for you. Bryan Engelbrecht, State Bank. I will have on this video contact information. Your office is here at 56th Street.
Yes. Yeah.
What's across from? Is that Bill Estes? What's where are you across
Yeah,
from?
it's across from the Jeep Ram dealer, right?
Okay, yeah.
Here in Brownsburg, right
That's
behind, right by
right.
Casey's.
There you go.
Yeah.
But I'll also put his phone number and email on there as well. If you're in the commercial space, if you're looking, thinking about it, contact Bryan. He'd be a great resource for you. Before we get out of here,
Yeah.
I do have some last minute lightning round questions
All right.
for you. So first thing that comes to your mind, Jeep. If you took a Jeep ride, would it be in the mountains or beachfront?
Well, as much as I like the beachfront, I think a Jeep ride would be a lot more fun in the mountains.
All right.
Some mountains it is.
What's your go-to snack?
Trail mix with some peanut M&M sprinkled in there. Got to have those.
Those are good. Yeah. Favorite sports team or teams?
Okay, well, New York Yankees, I guess Pacers and the Colts.
I won't hold the Yankees against you by any means, but yes, those are good ones. What's your biggest lesson that you've learned?
Boy, biggest lesson learned. I'd say, relationships it comes to mind, but also I think the importance of just keeping an open mind and being willing, you're never too old to learn something new, and always, have that passion and drive to, be humble and not, understand that you don't have all the answers all the time, and just always the kind of desire to always learn, I guess.
Yeah. What was your first job?
First job, painting houses in the summer.
Yeah.
Scraping paint and throwing the paint back on there. Yeah.
I might have to hire you.
Yeah.
Your dream vacation spot?
Boy, dream vacation spot. Probably I've never been. I'd say southern part of Italy. Yeah.
Nice. Yes. Last question I got for you.
Okay.
Pineapple on pizza. Is it yes or no?
Now keep the pineapple with the pina colada.
I like it.
Yeah.
Again, Bryan Engelbrecht, State Bank, commercial, any of your commercial needs, questions, contact him. Bryan, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thanks.